Hi, welcome back to the Introduction to Python Programming. This is section 4, Almighty If. If the if statement is probably one of the most popular statements in programming. So let's get started. The lesson objectives for this video include understanding the following: comments, line continuation, if, else if, and else, end command, and then the commit at the bottom is of course the commit that we need to check out to get access to the resources in the Git version control system for this project. Comments and line continuation. Comments. Begin lines with a hashtag to denote a comment. So in the screenshot, we can see that line 15 and 16 begin with a hashtag, and that allows us to just type free text and type in whatever we want to. The Python engine will ignore those lines completely. So when do you want to comment? Well, if you join a software engineering team or a programming team, there's going to be strict rules of when and when not to comment and what you should comment. And that's so the whole team can stay in line as to what to expect from other programmers with respect to code quality. But in general, you want to comment to explain ambiguity in your code. So if you have a block of code that's hard to understand for some reason, you'll probably want to put in some comments to explain what that block of code is doing. Now, on the other side of that, the thing you don't want to comment is obvious code. If you have a plus b in a function, for example, and they're cast as integers, you don't want to insert the comment that you're adding two numbers together because it's pretty obvious in the code by itself what is occurring. In fact, when you code like that, it's called self-documenting code, where you can read the code and really understand what's going on just by reading the code. Those kind of things, you don't need to comment. Now, line continuation. If a line of code is becoming too long, you can use a backslash to continue to the next line. So in line 17 through 19, we can see that we have a equal to 5 plus 5 plus 4, which is 14. So that's not some kind of fancy division that we're trying to throw in there. Literally all we're doing is we're telling the Python engine, hey, this line continues on the next line, this line continues on the next line. And typically you're going to want to use that when the line gets too long. In the example, which is just an example, adding those three numbers together would have been just fine on one line. So let's go ahead and move on. So the if and else if, or elif, because Python shortens some of these terms so that we don't have to write out too much. The first bullet point is if. Test if something is true. Execute the code if true. We have the variable pizza on the screenshot being set to the value of 10. On line 5, we said if pizza is less than 1, then we have line 6, which is indented. In Python, the indents are important. If we don't indent correctly, the code won't do what we expect to do. So the indent being under the if statement says if this statement is true, print no pizza. Then the next bullet point, which is else if or elif. If the first check is false, perform an additional check with its own code to execute. And again, the indents are important. So we have elif pizza is less than 7, print some pizza. And finally, we have else. If the previous check was false, run the else code. Print all pizzas are belong to me. Now that's a reference to an old video game, but that's not important. Now, as an additional question, did I have to use one elif, or could I have used multiple elifs or 10 elifs? Well, the answer to that question is I could use as many elifs as I wanted to. I could make a huge chain of elifs if I wanted to, and that's typically something you're going to want to avoid. If you have that occurring in your code, it probably means that you need to factor that code differently. It kind of goes outside the scope of this course or this lesson, as we're just talking about how to use the if, else if, and else statements. Something else I want to mention here is, although I'm checking if pizza is less than 1, if I wanted to check if pizza is equal to 1, I would use two equal symbols right next to each other to test for equality. And the reason we use multiple equal signs to test for equality is because just one equal sign by itself is assignment. So I said if pizza equal 1 with one equal sign, I would be telling the Python engine to make pizza equal to 1. If I want to test for equality, I have to use two equal signs together. And that's how I would tell Python to test for equality between a variable and a number, or something else if I wanted to. The end command. So on line 13, we have letter lists being set to a list of letters. That's what those brackets with those letters and quotes and commas is creating. That's creating a list. The first bullet in perform multiple checks. And the second bullet says supports data structures. Check if a value is in a list or a set. So there's multiple data objects we can use with the in statement to check In this example, we're using a list object, which is mutable, which means we can change the values of that list without actually creating a new data object. But on line 15, we say if a in letter list, print found, else print lost. So of course, we're going to end up printing lost because A is not in that list. But what that in command allows us to do is we don't have to run the code through a loop and test every value that's in that letter list. And we don't have to do a long else if chain to test every value in that list. We could just use the in command. Now let's jump into the lab environment and take a look at some of these concepts, as well as review the questions and answers related to this lesson. All right, here we are in the lab environment. Now I do have a problem in my Git version control because there's been changes made to this section 3. Now because of the way this project is set up, I don't care about those changes, and I definitely don't want to go looking for them to try and change it back to what it was. I just want to throw away those changes and move on. And the way we would do that, so if I try to check out the next lesson, which would be lesson 4, which is git checkout 67ACC9, it's going to say your local changes to the following files would be overridden by the checkout. And because of the state of this project, these lessons, I really don't care about any changes that were made, so I'm going to throw them away. So the way we throw away all our changes, we say git reset hard, and this is going to reset the project to the state it was in when we started. So I'm still at section 3. I just threw away all those changes. Now I'm going to check out that new commit. And now we have section 4. So I'm going to go ahead and click into that. I'm going to double check the cheat sheet, and that is definitely the concepts we were talking about. So that has additional information we can look at. Next, let's take a quick look at the examples. These are just from the slideshow. So if I open up example 3, you can see that we have that one if else statement that was found that goes against that list that was in the lesson. So if I run that, right click, run example 3, it prints out lost just like we expect. So are the indents important in Python? Of course they are. In fact, this isn't going to work now. Indent expected. So if I try to run it, it should give me an error. Yep. So it expected an indented item here. Let's try that. No. Print hello. Okay, so the indents and an if else statement have to make sense for the Python engine, otherwise you will just get errors, which is a great thing because it makes it much harder to introduce errors. But if we did that and put this there, then of course it's going to print out this as well because it's not indented underneath it. But if we indent it, then both of these will still run. All right, enough of that. Now let's take a look at the exercises. Section 4 questions. Task 1, why use comments in code? Why use line continuation? That's straight from the lesson. Write an if statement to test if a variable is equal to the word test. Remember, to test equality in if statements, you have to use 2 equal signs next to each other, not just one, because just one is assignment. It's not equality checking. Task 3, add an else if statement to the above statement to test if the variable is equal to the word test2. And then task 4, use the in operator to check both variables instead of if else. Okay, so be sure you give these a try by yourself to make sure that you can complete them. Now you don't have to come up with the exact same answer as I do. You just have to meet the criteria that the task asks for. So what I mean by that is, for example, in task 4, maybe you make an extra variable, you set it equal to a list, and you check that variable. And maybe in the answer, I didn't do that, I just did an inline list. Either way is fine, as long as you check both variables instead of with a in operator instead of an if else. Okay, so go ahead and pause the video if you're going to take a stab at that, or come back later after you've gave that an attempt. But we are moving into the answers right now. So let's go into the answers folder. Section 4, task answers. Task 1 answer, use comments to clarify ambiguous code segments, of course. Use line continuation to shorten longer lines. So you wouldn't use line continuation just for the fun of it. You use it when a line's getting too long. the task 2 answer. We set a equal to the value of pizza, and we test if a has equality to the word test, and then we print true. Task 3 answer, we just put an else if statement in there and do another equality check. And then task 4, you can say I put if a in a inline list. That's what we call that, because I didn't assign this list to a variable like was described in the lesson. I just did an inline list, and I checked if a is in that list, which of course pizza is not, so that's going to not print true. So that was pretty not too bad at all. Let's go ahead and head back over to the slideshow and finish this lesson out. All right, we're back, and we already talked about the in command, so we just need to go to the next slide, which is the section conclusion. What did we learn in the following lesson? Well, we learned about comments, line continuation, the if, else if, and else statement, as well as the in command. And that brings this lesson to a close. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you in the next. Thank you.